Ain't this a throwback, fam? Okay, welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be going over the training adjustment I made to gain 4 pounds of muscle in 6 weeks in my 5th year of training. Now, if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. For those of you who are advanced lifters, you know the struggle. You know how hard it is to pack on muscle in your 4th, 5th, 6th year of training. So the fact that I did this is pretty insane. Now, I'm going to go over how exactly I did that, what exactly the training adjustment I made is, and I'm going to give you some practical application for your training next time you are in the gym. Just for some background, I hit a plateau, okay? Around 2 months ago, I wasn't getting any bigger. My muscles weren't maturing. They weren't getting harder. I wasn't getting that much stronger, if stronger at all. And I was just fed up, okay? I was frustrated. I wanted to continue to see progress because that is a demotivating thing, right? When you don't see progress. And obviously I'm aware that that happens, right? That progress tapers off as you become an advanced lifter. But there's always some training, nutrition, lifestyle adjustment that you can make to get that 1% better. And when you're an advanced lifter, that 1% better can mean everything to you, right? And I did that by incorporating stretch-mediated hypertrophy training. Stretch-mediated hypertrophy has been shown to have more and more of an impact on muscle growth, with hundreds of peer-reviewed studies showing that stretch-mediated hypertrophy is more and more looking like a very, very key determinant for muscle growth. This is because when you stretch a muscle out, right? So you're stretching your bicep out on the eccentric, you stretch it out to a long muscle length, right? When it's fully extended, your triceps flexed, you're flaring your lats, so it's fully extended, you can feel the stretch, and you impose a lot of tension during that time with a dumbbell or with cables, whatever you're using, or a machine. It causes more hypertrophy in that lengthened position, so at the bottom part of the movement on the eccentric and the concentric, than any other part of the full range of motion. So for example, from here to here, back up to here, causes more hypertrophy than shortening the muscle. So training the muscle in the shortened position. And this is not just me speaking out of my arse. There are hundreds of studies which show this, lays emphasis on the fact that when you're training the muscle in the lengthened position, when you're really controlling your eccentric motion, this is the #1 generator of hypertrophy. If you put a lot of tension on the bicep here, it would grow more than having a lot of tension here. Okay, so what does it mean, right? What do you want to take away from this video? Next time you train, every movement, you should be focused and locked in on milking a super deep, painful stretch. Remember those 4 words. There's also a bunch of studies which show that they're online, right? You can easily find them. In some cases, or in many cases, they show that actually lengthened partials has been shown to be more hypertrophic than a full range of motion in some cases, which is absolutely insane. Now, obviously, studies show that concentrics are the most important and eccentrics are the most important. No, actually, the isometric holds are the most important for generating hypertrophy. So this is not me saying that, you should put your trust in data 100%. You have to corroborate that data with your own experience. So go out there and implement this into your training and then see for yourself. But I'm telling you from my experience that the data seems to line up with regards to training the lengthened position and simulating hypertrophy. So first of all, 2 exercises that come to mind are the leg extension and the seated hamstring curl. Now, for the leg extension, what you want to do is you want to set your seat as back as possible and you want to lean back into the chair. What this is going to do is it's going to increase the stretch on your quads, and it's going to allow you to take your quads through a larger range of motion. Both are a more effective way of doing the leg extension. 1, because you're getting a deeper stretch on the quad, which, as we've said, generates stretch-mediated hypertrophy. 2, you're going to take your quad through a larger range of motion, which is also another determinant of hypertrophy. So make sure you set the chair back and you lean back into the chair so that you feel the stretch on your quads. You're not sitting up like this, okay, and just going, you're leaning back and you're extending your legs like this, right? Next, for the leg curl, the seated leg curl, if you had to choose between the lying leg curl and the seated leg curl, always go for the seated leg curl. And this actually makes sense, right? Because when you're doing your seated ham curl, resistance is occurring in the lengthened position, whereas when you're training your lying ham curl, you're shortening the hamstring. So, if you had to opt in for one exercise for hamstrings, it has to be the seated hamstring curl. The stretch you get on it, muscle fiber recruitment you get on it is superior to a lying hamstring curl, #1. #2, like you lean back into the pad with your leg extensions to get a more stretch on the quads, you do the opposite for your hamstrings. So first of all, make sure the pad is as tight as possible on your thighs. Make sure you have your friend push the pad down, get the maximum tightness you can on the pad so that you're locked in and you're just focusing on curling your legs. Second, and lean forward a bit, hinge at the hips, and really feel that stretch in your hamstrings. That is what has blown up my hamstrings, okay? And that's what generates the stretch-mediated hypertrophy. Because when you lean forward on that seated ham curl, you're incorporating the stretch we've talked about, which is shown to be the most important part of the movement. So next time you train your hamstring curls or your leg extensions, make sure to sit how I've instructed you to. And for the leg extensions, you wanna, once you fail, do lengthen partials. So once you really can't get a full range of motion, do a few half reps, okay? As I said, lengthened partials have been shown in some studies to be more hypertrophic than a full range of motion. So you might as well get the most out of that movement. And for your leg curls, you want to do the same, right? Once you fail, lengthen partials like this, holding the stretch at the top for 2 to 4 seconds and just banging out as many partials as you can. Again, lengthened partials have been shown to be extremely hypertrophic. So what a good way to literally get the best bang for your buck. You do full range of motion reps in the lengthened position, and you're able to get in lengthened partials once you've failed. This is a recipe for insane leg growth. Next, I already touched on this, but biceps, okay? Biceps have been shown as well to respond very well to stretch-mediated training. So make sure to set up a bench 60 to 90 degree incline. So I would say don't lean too far back. So kind of like how I'm sitting in this chair, right? Like this, and just curl up. So incline dumbbell curls, and make sure, again, you're feeling the stretch at the bottom, you're flexing your tricep at the bottom so that you can get the maximal stretch, and you're doing lengthened partials at the bottom. This is the secret to overcoming a plateau. And then finally, another movement that comes to mind are overhead tricep extensions. Again, overhead extensions seem to be more hypertrophic than push downs, and that sucks for me because I've done push downs my whole life. I've abused them because every time I do overhead extensions, it kind of hurts my elbow. But recently I've started doing overhead extensions, really milking that deep stretch, whether I attach the cable rope below me or above me. This has allowed me to see growth so quickly, which is so weird. It's probably because I never hit my long head. So for those of you just doing push downs and not doing overhead extensions, start doing cable rope overhead extensions, and again, partials at the end after you fail. So that's it, okay? From what I've adjusted with my training, I've looked in the mirror, I've remained the same leanness, but I've gained 3 to 4 pounds of muscle, all because I've started doing this training in the last 6 weeks. So if you are stuck, if you're sick and tired of remaining, the same size or the same weight, start making adjustments to your training. In particular, start training in the lengthened position and focusing on stretching your muscle and feeding that stretch and lengthened partials and all the things I've talked about in this video. Do it for your quads, as I said, with the leg extensions. Do it for glutes. If you're doing a leg press, hold the bottom position so you're in the hole for like 4 seconds. You're gonna get a deep stretch on your quads, on your glutes as well. Adductors as well. I forgot to talk about the sus machine. What I do is I do stretch pauses, right? So I do a set till failure and then I still rest. But instead of getting up and resting, I'll just sit in that stretch position. So my legs are like this, and I'll wait 10 seconds while my adductors are getting stretched, and then I'll go back into it. This is a really good way, again, for inducing stretch-mediated hypertrophy. And this has blown up my legs now to the point where I chafe like a motherfucker, bro. I need to buy like some longer underwear because my adductors grew so much. So if you want bigger legs from the front, especially, start doing your adductors and start doing stretch pauses on the sus machine. Your hamstrings, obviously, I covered. Your seated ham curls, hold the stretch, lengthen partials. Biceps, hold the stretch, lengthen partials. And triceps, hold the stretch, lengthen partials. Same goes for your chest even. When you're doing pec flies, hold the stretch, feel the stretch, do partials in the stretch position. Or if you're doing a Smith press, hold the stretch, same applies. So as I said, ever since I started focusing on 2 to 4 second eccentrics with 2 to 4 seconds hold in the stretch position, I have gained a noticeable amount of muscle. It's all good and all making all these adjustments, but if you're not training hard, you're not going to grow. So you must be training hard on top of this. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope this helps. Make sure to check out Aesthetics Club for 30 free training programs, 300 free meal prep recipes, plus a bunch of other courses on testosterone mindset. Join Aesthetic School for my one-on-one coaching. Once and for all, bro, enough of zero progress, enough of not knowing what you're doing. Join my private coaching community. Work with me one-on-one. This is probably going to be the best investment you can make of your life. Join my newsletter for secrets I don't share on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram for exclusive content, and make sure to check out Barbell Apparel for some pump covers and some comfortable aesthetic clothes. So appreciate you for watching. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.